I'm not sure if eating raw carrots is a normal thing to do. I feel like it really is the superior way of eating carrots. I mean, let's face it, boiling them or roasting them is kind of a pussy move. Okay, so I'm finally kind of getting rid of my jet lag, and I'm working on a few things that I'll reveal later. But I gotta say, I just wanted to make one last video about my trip. I might upload. I'm not sure what I want to do. I'm thinking about uploading a video where I rank all the movies that I saw during my trip from worst to best, and I saw like 55 movies, so I'm not sure how I'm gonna do that. I can't always do my Criterion collection haul because I did buy new stuff and bought some like non-Criterion collection stuff as well. I can also do like a compilation of all the shows that I saw. I can do any of those things. Maybe you guys can choose, but for now, I just want to make one last video about my trip, just a couple of stories. Because the thing is, with this trip, the way I planned it, the last 3 weeks of this trip was really when everything got busy. That's when I jam-packed my schedule with shows for some reason. Like the first 8 weeks, it was pretty chill. I was able to like kind of relax, just go to places, go to restaurants, go to parks, just walk around, maybe go to a show maybe like once every 2 weeks or so. But the last three weeks, like almost every day there was a show. Like I was in North Carolina to see, I was mainly there to see Sleater-Kinney, but I also got to see Snail Mail and Kurt Vile, but I was mainly there for Sleater-Kinney, and I was the first person there. I was the first person in line, and I was right at front and center, and I saw the whole thing. Like I think Curran Tucker's in my eyes met for like a second, and I was so intimidated that I had to look away. And at the end of the show, I got to have Carrie Brownstein's set list, and not only is this a set list, it's also got her handwriting on it, and also it had, I'm not sure if you can see it, but it's got her shoe marks on it as well, which clearly makes this worth a fortune. And it was just great. Like, Sleater-Kinney's my favorite band of all time, so watching them, like, especially the moment where they're playing The Future Is Here, which is one of their new singles, and it like seamlessly transitions into Jumpers. Like that's when I had like little mini stroke. I was like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever. That was all a lot of fun. The only thing that ruined the moment was this guy right next to me. Like almost every 3 songs, he would just go, "Fuck yeah, Sleater-Kinney!" Like that was his voice, and I was just like, "Fuck, shut up, shut up, shut up! I just want to be in this moment." But that was all great. And like 2 days after, I went to see Wise Blood, and on the same day, I also went to see Gorilla Toss, which is also one of my favorite bands of all time. And here's the thing. Wise Blood, amazing show. Absolutely great. Got the set list for that show as well. I was sort of on that high. I actually met a guy at the show, and I guess we're friends now because I met him the next day at Miski's last show, because he's like a concert junkie or whatever. I thought the Wise Blood show was gonna be the event of the night, but I also had a Gorilla Toss show. I was like, okay, let's go to that show. And I ran to the Bowery Ballroom in New York. I got there, and I gotta say, man, Gorilla Toss is one of the most exciting bands to see live. If you've never heard their music, just go and listen to the song Betty Dreams of Green Men. It's one of the greatest songs ever. And then go and see them live if you like that song, because they deliver the exact amount of energy that you can feel from that song. And after the show ended, I was at the merch table. I was trying to buy a shirt, and like somebody was like kind of like scooting around in the back trying to get to the merch table. And by the time when the person got to the merch table, I looked at her, and it was the singer from the band, Cassie Carlson, and I was like, oh my god, it's the person who has the voice of the songs that's been helping me for like the last 2 or 3 years. I need to make her sign everything. And I also had a gift for her. I actually I brought some like Korean fans from back home, just to give to singers if I get to meet them. And I gave one to her, and I was like, I came all the way from Korea, and she was like, oh wow, that's really cool. And she signed my set list. There's her signature. Obviously, this is not her set list because the handwriting is very different, but this is the only thing that I had. Meeting her meant a lot to me, even though she's not like she's not like this huge figure. There's still a very much so an underground band, maybe one of the bigger underground bands, but still. But meeting her made me realize that these are just normal people. The music might sound crazy and amazing, but in the end, they're just like regular people. I can do this too if I try. That meant a lot to me. And then seeing Miski's last show the next day was also just a great little thing. At the end of the trip, my last just handful of live music sets were gonna be at Riot Fest in Chicago. Now, the first day I actually didn't get to enjoy it because there was this like credit card scare for like a couple minutes, and I realized there was nothing. But I had to leave the festival to like really check into it. And unfortunately, there was no re-entry, so I didn't get to see the Flaming Lips play Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots in full, which kind of sucks, but hey, I'd rather feel safe about my credit card than my bank account and see the Flaming List. That was perfectly fine. The second day was basically thrash metal day for me. I was there to see Slayer. That was all that mattered to me. I was gonna be at that stage during the whole time. I was there for the first act, The Who. I saw Gwar. I saw Testament. I saw Anthrax just to see Slayer. Honestly, though, the Anthrax show kicked ass. They were absolutely amazing. But here's the thing. I am not a mosh pit type of person. I do like pits once in a while. It gets kind of fun unless you are being an asshole to me and basically just elbowing people into chokeholds. Unfortunately, that was the case with the Slayer pit. I wanted to enjoy that Slayer set because they sounded amazing, and I was just trying to survive. Because here's the thing, I'm okay with people pushing each other. That's just part of the whole thing. I'm okay with the crowd surfers. Sure, they get just a bit annoying after like the 50th person during the hour-and-a-half set, but still, I can manage. What I can't manage are the guys, are the absolute assholes in the pit who are elbowing people just to get closer to the stage, who are like legitimately hurting others. I was in like 5 chokeholds. Like there were 5 instances where I was not able to breathe. So yeah, I did not have fun at the Slayer pit. If minus the 5 chokeholds, it was a pretty good experience. It was a really cathartic experience. It was very physical. I'm not sure if I still have the bruise, because there was like a really round bruise I had after the show, but all in all, it was a lot of fun.
Michigan. Thank you very much for everything.
But the last day, that's when things got a little bit dramatic. So on the last day, the people that I really, really wanted to see were Patti Smith and Bikini Kill, who were gonna play back to back at the same stage. And on the other stages, you know, people like the B-52s and American Football were playing. But I was like, I really want to see the B-52s, but I'd rather see Patti Smith and Bikini Kill in the front row at the same stage. That would be amazing. So I decided to do that. So I got there like 2 acts before Patti Smith decided to play. When I got there, you know, and before that, obviously, like I got myself some water. I ate a bunch of food. I went to the bathroom, and I was like, I'm ready to stand here for like 8 hours now. And when I got there was a band called The Beaches playing, and they ended, and I was like waiting. I was in maybe like the 3rd or 4th row, and then Against Me played, and that was also great. I did really want to see Against Me as well. They were gonna play Reinventing Axl Rose and Transgender Dysphoria Blues. Those 2 albums, which I do think are probably like 2 of the most important albums they made. So they were gonna play those 2 albums in full back to back for like an hour and 20 minutes. So I was like, good, I love that. Let's get that going. So after that show ended, which was great. Against Me was amazing. I got to the front row for Patti Smith, and I was just standing there. And this is where things get just a little bit interesting. There was a girl to the left of me, and we weren't talking at that point. I didn't really feel like talking. I was just gonna be there alone. I think she was alone. She wasn't talking to anyone as well. So we were just standing there, and the show starts. And like it was great. Like 3 songs in, it was amazing. Although I will say, even though I can't believe I don't want to complain about the Patti Smith. The fact that I saw Patti Smith is amazing on its own, but I just gotta say, like half of her set were covers, and she's an amazing singer. So even whether she's singing her songs or somebody else's songs, is still an amazing performance. But I would have I would have traded like 3 of the covers she did just to see her sing Land from start to finish. That would have made me go crazy, because Land is probably my favorite song of hers. But yeah, whatever. Why not? Let her sing Neil Young songs. Let her sing Jimi Hendrix songs. She sounds great still. But like 3 songs into the set, some girl, I'm not going to use certain words, some girl just barged in, just squeezed herself into the front row, and I was like pushed to the left, and the girl who was like on the left of me, she got like fucking squeezed, and we were both, and there was like another guy on the right side who was like getting squeezed too, and the girl who just barged in was like, thank you, and she was like, you guys totally have elbow room for me. You guys totally have elbow room. I can totally be here. And we were like, no, dude, you're being a dick. You're being an asshole. Get away. Go away. Like, we came, like the girl on the left side of me, like the girl who got squeezed, she was like, I came all the way from New Mexico, and I was like, I came all the way from South Korea. And the girl who barged in was like, well, that's cool, but I don't even remember what she said. At that point, like, she was just being really indignant and just being a dick. So we were all kind of like having this verbal, you know, little conflict. But then Patti Smith started singing again. I think at that point everybody was going like, okay, this girl is not gonna ruin me seeing Patti Smith live. So we sat down, we settled down again, and we got into it. And you know, even though I still kind of felt the girl like pushing around to get more elbow room, eventually Patti Smith started singing Gloria, and that means the world to me. So that was enough. And then after Patti Smith ended, the girl who barged in just walked away, and I just kind of looked at the girl on the left side of me, and she just looked at me. I was just like, what? We were just like, what the fuck was that? And we just started talking about the girl, about Patti Smith, about, you know, the whole festival, and like, oh, did you come from? Oh, you came from South Korea. You came from New Mexico. Da da da. And we just like started talking, and there was gonna be like an hour before Bikini Kill was gonna start. So we thought this was a good way to like kill time, I guess. And I gotta say, I was fucking ready for Bikini Kill. I love their music. I think it's really primal. I think it's really inspiring at the same time. And I was ready to get that set list, man. That was the last show of my trip. I made this sign, and I was like, motherfucker, I'm gonna get that set list. Like there were actually like people in the front row, like looking at my sign, going like, "Are you trying to get the set list for Bikini Kill?" And I was like, "Yeah." And it was like a woman who was like, "Oh my god, I want the set list too, but you got that sign, you're probably gonna get it." And I was like, "Hey, there's more than one." And I was having like having a good time talking to people and talking to the girl next to me, and 5 minutes before Bikini Kill was gonna start, 5 minutes, the girl that was on the left side of me, the girl that I was talking to, passes out. And at first I did not notice it because she was just kind of like leaning on the railings, and I was like, oh, maybe she's just tired. And then somebody was like, we need a medic. Like the people were shouting, we need a medic. And I was like, oh my god, who passed out this time? And I was like looking around, and it was the girl next to me. I was like, oh my god, is she dead? Is she dead? And like that was instantly what I thought, like, she's dead, oh my god, she's dead. And then when she went over the rails, and as they were like taking her to the emergency tent, I saw her like open her eyes, and I was like, okay, she's alive. And that's when the moral dilemma started to play in my head. I felt a little bit like an asshole as I stood there thinking, should I follow her? Should I make sure she's okay? I don't know her. You know, I don't know. That was the other side saying, like, you don't know her. You don't need to help her out. You know, you're gonna get the set list. You're gonna see Kathleen and Hannah in the front row. But then the other side of me was like, dude, you're probably gonna feel much better if you just make sure that girl's okay. And I was like, I can technically see Bikini Kill from far away. I'll probably hear them fine. Fuck it. So I decided to follow the girl. And turns out, she was okay. She did not die, thank God. And I gave her some water. I helped out the people who were like handing her some like bags of ice or whatever. And I tried to talk to her, and she was like shaking all over. And I was like, man, I guess this is the music festival experience. And after like 10 minutes, after like exchanging like Instagram accounts or whatever, she was like, I feel like shit, but I do want to see Bikini Kill. Let's try to like find a cool spot. And we did. We actually found a decent spot, and we heard them perfectly fine. And they kicked ass.
That girl thinks she's a queen in the neighborhood. Well, I've got news for you. She is. They say she's a slut, but I know she is. Mama's my girl. Rebel girl. Rebel girl. Rebel girl, you are the queen of my world. Rebel girl. Rebel girl. I think I wanna take you home. I wanna try to do it.
And after that, for like 10 minutes, we just kind of walked around, like talking, and then we saw a photo booth, and we were like, and she was like, let's get a photo. And I was like, oh, okay. And here's the thing, I've never used a photo booth before. I don't take selfies. I hate taking pictures, but I thought this is the best way to like preserve this memory. So we got in. We were trying to pay for the goddamn photos, but we had no idea how. But eventually we did. I feel like I should have paid it. Like, she paid for the whole thing. It was like $5, but she paid for the whole thing. But I thought, like, in hindsight, I'm like, I should have paid at least like $2. Like, that was because she was gonna have one, I was gonna have one. It's not like she was gonna have all the photos, but we took the photos. I'm not gonna show you the photos because they are terrible. They especially the first one, because the face that I have in the first one is the face of a person who literally has no idea what's going on. So it just looks terrible. Like, she was ready. Like, she had all the poses ready, and I was just like, wait, it's gonna happen now? And then it just happens, and I was just like, fuck, I look like shit. And after that, we talked for like a few more minutes, and then it ended. She was like, well, goodbye. Hope you get home safely. We both said that, and it just ended. And yeah, that's the end of the story. What do you know? It's almost 19 minutes. I probably should end this video. Well, now I'm back home, trying to eat healthy, and being really lonely. I barely have anybody to talk to. But hey, everyone is busy. I'm gonna try to keep myself busy as well. That's the way to stave off the voices inside your head. That's the edgy mental illness joke for the day. Bye.